So listen up folks, this is what you're going to need. A corking gun? Check. Some cork or silicone? Check. A spray bottle with some diluted dishwashing liquid? Check. A utility knife? Check. Some scraps of old newspaper? Check. And last but not least, my secret weapon. Check. G'day folks, Uncle Knackers here. With a dodgy knee keeping me out of the workshop this week, I thought it'd be a great idea to do a few simple jobs around the house that don't require much movement, with one of those jobs being to cork that gap between the tiles and the top of the vanity basin. Now in today's video, I'm going to show you how to easily apply cork or silicone, no mess, no fuss, just like a pro, in a few simple steps. Let's get cracking. Now before you rush off and purchase your corking, you need to know that it basically comes in three different varieties. You have your latex based corking, you have your silicone based corking, and you have your butyl rubber based corking. Now keeping it nice and simple, a latex based corking is good for dry areas and is used for things like gapping around baseboards, skirting boards, architraves and things like that. Now a silicone based corking is used for wet areas such as inside showers, on tops of vanities like we're doing today, kitchen countertops and things like that. And the butyl rubber based corking, that's mainly used for exterior type applications where you're dealing with a lot of expansion and contraction type issues. And just very quickly, if you want to see more videos just like this one, do yourself a favour and hit that subscribe and notification button down below. Good stuff. Okay, we're now ready to cork that gap between the tiles and the top of the vanity basin. Now because this is a wet area, I'm using a silicone based cork. Now the first thing we need to do, and I know it sounds obvious, is we need to cut the top off our silicone tube. And to do that, just use your utility knife to cut the end off. Watch your thumb. Just like that. Now the next thing we need to do is to cut the end of the nozzle with a utility knife on roughly a 45-degree angle. Now most nozzles come with these pre-designated lines, so all you need to do is to follow one of them and you're good to go. Now a good tip is cut the nozzle closer to the tip for a narrower corking bead, or farther down toward the tube for a wider corking bead. Speaking of corking, just very quickly, did I mention that a couple of nights ago I watched a really good movie about a guy on death row who in a previous life was a professional corker. Yeah, true story. I think it was called Dead Man Corking or something like that. Good movie. Should watch it. Alrighty. I'll see myself out. Okay. Now to apply the cork or the silicone, take your time. There's no mad rush and there's no trophy for coming home first. Now what you need to do is to place the flat part of the nozzle on the joint and then hold the gun, the corking gun, at roughly 45 degrees. Now some people when they're applying cork or silicone like to pull the corking gun along, which is what I'm doing here, whereas others like to push the corking gun, which actually forces the cork right into that joint. Now I think there's arguments for both methods, but for today's demonstration, I'll be pulling the corking gun. Okay, let's do this. Gently squeeze the trigger and start pulling that corking gun along, making sure that we get constant contact between the tile and the vanity top. Remember, take your time, there's no mad rush, and we don't want any gaps. Beautiful. Now to smooth and profile that corking bead, you can actually go out and buy a corking smoother outer tool thingy, like one of these gizmos here, which is an actual silicone or corking profiling tool. Or you could go old school and use my secret weapon. So what's this secret weapon I speak of? Chocolate paddle pop. Delicious. It's the ice cream stick, and this is what I'll be using as my corking profiling tool. No fingers required. So in other words, don't let your fingers do the corking. That was a joke. You know, like the Yellow Pages ad where the fingers do the walking? Just similar. Play on words. So, yeah. But in all seriousness, professional corkers use these, so if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Now before I attack this with my profiling stick, I just want to give it a light spray with that diluted dishwashing detergent. And then just simply with your profiling stick, run that along the bead and the corking comes straight off. Look at that, that is perfect. And then you can wipe the excess on these scrap pieces of paper. How good is that? Now I reckon that little ripper deserves a great tip, knackers! Okay, if you want to see more videos like the one you just watched, make sure you click on one of my playlists. That'll be popping up over there very shortly. Alrighty, after all that, I think I need a cup of tea. So till next time, be good, be safe, and I'm out of here. Cheers. Now today's bonus tip is, if you want to save that nozzle for a future use down the track, grab yourself an old glove, a rubber glove, cut one of the fingers off, won't hurt, and then just simply place this over the end of the nozzle, just like that, and then wrap a lacquer band or an elastic band a few times around it, just like that, and then pump it full of silicone so that expels all the air, just like that. It all blows up a little bit. Keep that safely stored away and that should be good for a couple of months. Great tip.